We have some major breaking news. It has been announced that Matt DiBenedetto has signed a multi-year contract extension and will return to Viking Motorsports in 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news. It has been announced that Matt DiBenedetto has signed a multi-year contract extension with Viking Motorsports. Here's a report from Sportsnet. Viking Motorsports signed Matt DiBenedetto to a 2-year extension while also making the switch from Ford to Chevrolet and an alliance with Rich Choice Racing for its next chapter in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The team, which most recently ran number 38 out of the RSS Racing stable, will now be renumbered as the number 99. We've been hearing a lot of rumors and speculation surrounding the Viking Motorsports team and organization over the course of the last couple of months. There's been rumors they were going to switch manufacturers. There have been some talks and conversations that they were going to potentially switch to Toyota for 2025 and sign a development deal with Joe Gibbs Racing, but they made a difference and decided to go ahead and switch to Chevrolet. Now, obviously, Viking Motorsports was a new organization that did show up in the middle of 2024 after Don Sackett had been really frustrated with CJ McLaughlin's performances. And Don Sackett had been really good friends with Matt DiBenedetto off the racetrack, which is why he called up Matt DiBenedetto to give the team a lot better performances. And I gotta say, Matt DiBenedetto coming back to this team is a really, really good decision. Matt DiBenedetto had some really strong performances in 2024 with this team when they were not having electrical gremlins or issues. They took this number 38 car from being a car that was outside of the top 35 in owners' points, I believe inside the top 30, and he had some really good runs throughout the year. Got a top 10, I believe, at Talladega Super Speedway, has some top 10 and top 15 runs. I think got a top 20 at Richmond, if I remember correctly, and generally ran up front in quite a few races throughout the year. At some tracks, you wouldn't have expected that car to run up front. And now them taking things a lot more seriously and switching over to the Chevrolet brand, I think is really, really huge. Now, they're going to be part of a pipeline that's going to have a lot of different teams and organizations, obviously with ECR and Rich Choice Racing. Of course, Rich Choice Racing, those drivers being Austin Hill and Jesse Love, and potentially Chandler Smith as well. Then, of course, you have Jory Anderson Racing, their drivers being Jeb Burton and Blaine Perkins. We might be seeing a team like Young's Motorsports do that with Anthony Alfredo. There are some other drivers and teams that are part of that group, but now you've got Viking Motorsports joining up with them in 2025. And I also think it makes a lot of sense for a 2-year extension with Matt DiBenedetto. We all know Matt DiBenedetto has had a little bit of a history of burning bridges in the past and losing seats with teams and organizations. But I like what Matt DiBenedetto is currently doing here now is he's keeping his head down and he's not making mistakes that he made years ago back in 2020 or 2021. Obviously, what happened at Rackler Racing, yes, him announcing he'd be not back with the team for the rest of 2024. That was really unfortunate that happened, but Matt DiBenedetto losing his seat near the end of the year at Rackley was really, really disappointing. I think Matt DiBenedetto is one of the most underrated drivers in NASCAR Xfinity Series competition, and he's shown that in the past. He showed that with the organization prior Rackler Racing. Just to put this in perspective, Matt DiBenedetto had 10 or 11 top 10s at Rackler Racing in 2024. Before he lost his seat near the end of the year. You compare that when Ty Dillon drove. Ty Dillon, I think, only had 2 or 3 top 10s and was like 17th or 18th in the standings. Meanwhile, when his son of the team, Dawson Sutton, who's the son of Kurt Sutton, owns the organization, came in, he had a top 5 finish in his debut with the organization and team. Meanwhile, Ty Dillon, of course, going back to Cup with Colleague Racing in 2025. But I think that Matt DiBenedetto is someone who can get the best out of equipment. He's shown it in the past. Now, what are my realistic expectations for this team in 2025? If they are going to be getting ECR support, the goal it should be a couple top 5s, most likely at Super Speedways, get 4 or 5 top 10s by the end of the year, and be inside the top 20 in the standings, and potentially be inside the top 15 in the standings. Yes, it's going to be a really tough goal. He's going to be going up against guys like Connor Zilic and Carson Quaffle, Sammy Sif, Justin Allgaier for that. Jeb Burton probably will be in that conversation for top 15, potentially Anthony Alfredo as well. You've got Jesse Love, Austin Hill. You've got Harrison Burr, who's going to be competing for a top 15 position in the standings. You've obviously got the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers of Taylor Gray, William Sawalsh, and Brandon Jones. You've got the Haas Factory Team drivers of Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer. You've got Nick Sanchez. You got Christian Eckes and Josh Williams and Daniel Dye. There's a lot of really big stiff competition this team is going to have for 2025. But at the end of the day, I think this is a really good move to bring Matt DiBenedetto back. And having someone who is a veteran driver to really build your program up makes a lot of sense. And again, I really do expect that this team is going to run pretty solid in 2025. I think top 20 will be the realistic goal for them in the standings, and getting inside the top 25 in the owner's points, because the higher you can be in the owner's points, the less likely you're going to miss races. And I do think there's a really good chance that they're not going to miss races with the speed that Matt DiBenedetto's shown. Do I think there'll be as many mechanical issues? Also, I don't think so. I think with the team having a little bit more experience down, they're probably going to bring more people into the team to really build their program up. I think ultimately the goal that this team wants to eventually have is win an Xfinity Series title. I don't know if Matt DiBenedetto will be the guy that can lead them to an Xfinity Series title down the road, but I think if this team being a playoff team, that could be a potential possibility down the road. Again, I'm not expecting that for the 2025, if I'm going to be real and honest, unless they win a super speedway. But you never know. We've seen some teams that have come out of nowhere and just be good off the get-go. Big Machine Racing proved that when they finally went full-time with Parker Kligerman. And then, of course, when they had other guys come in, and other teams like RSS Racing's had pop-up years with Ryan Sieg. You never know. We could see this team be the pop-up team that really shows up and really performs for the get-go. So I'm excited for this move. I really do believe that you're going to have a strong season for Matt DiBenedetto. I think, again, the goal, like I said, should be top 20 for Matt DiBenedetto in the 2025 season. And the Xfinity lineup is very, very stacked for 2025. The Xfinity Series looks to be one of the most stacked lineups we've had in a long time. There are still some unknowns at this point. We're still waiting on the Sam Hunt Racing drivers to be confirmed. Though I do think Dean Thompson's a favorite to get that seat. It won't be Connor Daly, who was going to get that seat before stuff and funding kind of fell through, unfortunately. And there's some other teams that have to announce their stuff, like, of course, RSS has not confirmed anything outside, I believe, Ryan Sieg for next year. So there's still a lot of unknowns around the lineup for next year. We do know there's probably going to be a fifth Junior Motorsports car at some point next year. We do know that we haven't anything around the second Alpha Prime Racing machine, and some other teams like SS Greenlight and Joey Gase Motorsports, who, of course, will be making announcements later today. They'll be announcing one of their drivers for 2025. So expect a lot of those announcements to come very, very soon in the coming days and weeks. So that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Matt DiBenedetto. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below that, and comment below your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your expectations for Matt DiBenedetto for 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And do you think his team will be able to finish inside the top 20 in the standings? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I don't think there's any more content dropping today on the channel. Tomorrow, we're going to basically have a Team Penske preview dropping on the channel, talking about Team Penske, what my expectations are for the team going into next year. And then, of course, on Wednesday, there should be a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. With this being probably the last week till Christmas, we're not probably going to get much news, so expect there to be a lot of news this week, and there's probably going to be a lot of content dropping on people like Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Haley Deegan, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, other people like, again, Kurt Busch, all those kind of people. Expect all that content to drop as we close out the remainder of the year. Also expect my Cup driver lineup video to be released in the coming days as well, probably within the next week, probably around Christmas time is when you're going to see that. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, and Kyle Busch too, by the way. Expect all that great content, Bubba Walls 2311, all that stuff. Expect to see that on the channel coming up soon. I'll see you guys there for all that great content. Take care, everybody.